What if I tell you that there are 9 products in the warehouses that your great-grandchildren will be able to eat? Not just to eat, but to truly thrive, as these products ignore expiration dates. They mock the milk in your refrigerator that spoiled last week. I am talking about powdered products with a shelf life exceeding 25 years, and some even longer. Before you close this video thinking it's just about flour and sugar, wait, because the 7th item on this list is likely already in your pantry fresh and costing you money every week, while the powdered version can last until 2050. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know which powdered products to store long-term, how to store them properly, and why most prepared people completely ignore the best source of protein that costs less than a portion of chicken. My name is
All right, let's
Zach,
do this.
and I have been training since
Time to push my
2012.
limits.
It has been more than 10 years of testing, failures, learning, and searching for what truly works in food storage. And here is what no one will tell you about powdered products. It's not just for emergencies. This is for smart people who understand that food prices only go up, that supply chains are fragile, and having options gives you power. Real power. The power not to panic when stores look like something out of a dystopian movie. The power to help your neighbors. The power to prepare a full meal when everyone else is fighting for the last can of beans. Let's start with the first product, and this may surprise you. Powdered eggs. I know what you're thinking. Powdered eggs? They taste like cardboard, right? Not true. These are outdated military reserves. Modern powdered eggs, if stored properly, can change the game. That's why this is important. Eggs are one of the most versatile foods on the planet. Breakfast, baking, binding ingredients, anything. But fresh eggs last in the refrigerator for only 3 to 5 weeks. Powdered eggs, stored in airtight bags with oxygen absorbers in a cool, dry place, can last 30 years or even longer. This is what amazed me when I first tested them in 2014. Firstly, they are really tasty if restored properly. Secondly, they save an incredible amount of space. A can of powdered eggs, equivalent to about 7 dozen fresh eggs, takes up as much space as a large can of coffee. And thirdly, the protein content is almost identical to fresh eggs. We're talking about 6 grams of protein per serving. This is not survival food. This is strategic food. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people buy powdered eggs and then never use them because they don't know how to properly rehydrate them. The secret? Use slightly warm water, neither cold nor hot. Room temperature or slightly above. Mix 2 tablespoons of powder with 2 tablespoons of water. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. Don't rush. The time for the powders to steep is crucial. It allows the powder to fully absorb moisture and restore properly. They should be cooked on low heat and slowly. High temperatures will make them rubbery. At a medium-low heat with a small amount of oil, they are surprisingly close to the real thing. I regularly use powdered eggs, not just for storage. I use them in baking constantly as they are more stable than fresh eggs. No need to guess whether your eggs are medium or large. The proportions are always precise. For trips, this is a real find. No more worrying about broken eggs in the fridge. Forget about storage problems. Just take a small container of powder, and you're all set. Now let's move on to the second point. Powdered milk. And before you start complaining about its strange taste, let me stop you. Yes, powdered milk in its pure form won't win any awards. But as an ingredient that provides calcium, vitamin D, and protein for decades, this is a completely different topic. Whole milk powder has a shelf life of about 5 to 10 years. Skimmed powdered milk, when stored properly, can last 25 years or more. The difference lies in the fat content. Fat can go rancid. Therefore, if you want maximum longevity, you need skimmed powdered milk for long-term storage. But here is a little secret. Keep some full-fat powder for flavor and some skimmed for longevity. The real magic of powdered milk lies not in drinking it pure, but in what you can cook with it. Cream soups, purees, bread baking, cookies, pancakes, yogurt, believe it or not, homemade hot chocolate, cream for coffee in an emergency, smoothies, protein shakes, the list goes on. You can even make a pretty good cheese sauce with powdered milk if you know what you're doing. Here is my personal advice that I learned from a friend who runs a farm in 2016. If you intend to drink powdered milk and want it to taste better, here's a trick. Mix it overnight and let it sit in the refrigerator. Something in this cold insistence significantly changes the taste and texture. Add a drop of vanilla extract and a pinch of sugar if you want to diversify a bit. Suddenly your apocalypse milk might become quite palatable. The third item is whey protein powder. Here we separate casual preparers from serious ones. Protein is the most complex macronutrient for long-term storage. Carbohydrates are easy, fats are possible, but difficult. Protein is a real challenge. Most protein sources are fresh meat, which is obviously not suitable for storage. Canned meat is good, but bulky and expensive. Dried beans are great, but do not contain a complete set of amino acids. And here comes whey protein powder to the rescue. High-quality whey protein isolates stored in a sealed container with oxygen absorbers can last from 10 to 15 years, possibly even longer. This is a complete source of protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot synthesize on its own. The protein density here is unmatched. A 2-ton container can provide you with 40 servings of 25 grams of protein each. This is 1,000 grams of protein in something that resembles a large can. But here's what most people get wrong. They buy the cheapest whey protein they can find, usually filled with artificial sweeteners, fillers, and unnecessary ingredients. Then they wonder why it clumps, has a strange smell, or separates after a year. Quality matters here. You need an isolate or concentrate of whey protein from a reliable brand with minimal ingredients, and it must be stored properly. In the original packaging, if well sealed, or transferred to a container with oxygen absorbers for maximum longevity. I keep whey protein in my diet because it's not just emergency food. This is everyday food, a protein shake after a workout, a quick breakfast when you're in a hurry. Mix it with oatmeal for extra protein. Add it to smoothies, include it in pancake batter. He is versatile and fills an important gap in long-term food storage that most people completely ignore. Let's pause for a moment because I understand how overwhelming this can be. You are watching this video because you want to be prepared. You want peace of mind. But perhaps you are unsure where to start or what to focus on. I understand you. That is why I have prepared a completely free guide that will lead you through what I believe is even more fundamental than powdered products. It's called How to Turn $50 into Food Supplies for 90 Days. And yes, it really is free. No tricks. This guide includes an exact shopping list for $50 that will feed your family for over 90 days. I am talking about specific brands and prices. It includes 37 essential items for preparation that most people never think about when stocking up. And number 23 will really surprise you. You will receive a simple storage trick that works in any home or apartment, even with limited space. Emergency dishes that can be prepared without fuel or electricity. A snack from a gas station, perfect for barter exchange. Step-by-step guide to scaling supplies from 1 week to 3 months with confidence. Storage strategies to keep your supplies organized and fresh for years. And one oil that lasts long and is safe to use. Look, I put this together because I remember being a newcomer in 2012, feeling completely overwhelmed by the conflicting information around. This guide helps to navigate the confusion and gives you a clear starting point. It's free. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Just leave your name and email, and I will send it to you. Your information is safe. I respect your privacy. Your data will never be shared. Take this guide and then come back because we have 6 more powdered products to discuss. And number 7 will probably make you rethink your entire grocery budget. So let's get back to business. Let's move on to number 4, powdered soup mixes. Stay with me because I'm not talking about those salt bombs from the grocery store that mainly consist of salt and monosodium glutamate. I'm talking about high-quality dried soups that actually contain real vegetables, spices, and nutrients. They can be purchased from several companies specializing in emergency preparedness, as well as from some regular brands if you know what to look for. The charm of powdered soups lies in 3 aspects. First, it is comfort food. In a stressful situation, a warm bowl of soup can have a calming effect on your mental state, unlike crackers or peanut butter. Secondly, they are incredibly easy to prepare. Most of them only need boiling water and perhaps 10 to 15 minutes on the stove. No culinary skills are required. Thirdly, they can be stored for a very long time. Properly packaged powdered soup can easily last up to 25 years. Some manufacturers claim that the shelf life is even longer. But here's the key point. You need to read the ingredients carefully. Some soup mixes mainly consist of starch and fillers with a small amount of vegetables. You need those where vegetables and legumes are truly high on the list of ingredients. Pea soup mix, lentil soup mix, minestrone, black beans, all filled with fiber, protein, and nutrients, not empty calories. I learned this lesson from my own experience in 2015 when I bought a large batch of cheap soups, thinking I made a great purchase. 6 months later, I opened one of the packages to try it, and it turned out to be essentially flour paste with pitiful pieces of carrot, a complete waste of money. Since then, I only buy from companies that specialize in quality preparation products, or I make my own soup mixes, which is actually easier than it seems. Buy dried vegetables in bulk, add some broth powder, dried beans or lentils, mix with your favorite spices. Voila, you have your own soup mix that costs a fraction compared to commercial options. Item number 5, powdered cheese. Yes, you heard correctly. Powdered cheese. And before you make a dissatisfied face, understand that powdered cheese is already present in many products you probably consume regularly. Have you ever tried boxed macaroni and cheese? That's powdered cheese. Did you have cheese crackers with bright orange powder? That's also powdered cheese. Popcorn in the cinema with seasoning? That's right, it's powdered cheese. The difference is that when you buy quality powdered cheddar or a cheese blend for long-term storage, you get a product that can last over 20 years and serve as a flavor enhancer and source of fat for many dishes. A little powdered cheese can significantly change the flavor. You can make cheese sauce for pasta or vegetables. It can be added to scrambled eggs, whether from fresh or powdered eggs. It can be mixed with mashed potatoes. Use it as a seasoning for popcorn. Add to the dough for cheese rolls. You can even make a decent cheese dip by mixing it with powdered milk and a few other ingredients. Here's what you need to know about fats in long-term food storage. They are hard to store. Oils spoil and do not last long unless dried or preserved. Nuts contain oils that also lose their properties over time. Powdered cheese provides a stable source of fat that is also pleasant to taste. This is not food from hell. No one claims that. But when you live on rice and beans for weeks or months, adding powdered cheese makes these dishes much more enjoyable. And this is what I didn't realize until I conducted a test in 2017, living on food supplies for a week. The fatigue from the monotony of taste is a real problem. Even if you have enough calories, eating bland food day after day is morally exhausting. Powdered cheese is an inexpensive insurance against taste fatigue. It costs about $20 to $30 for a large package that will last you many years and add pleasure to hundreds of dishes. The 6th place is taken by one of my personal favorites, powdered peanut butter. Some of you may already know it from the fitness world, where it has become popular as a low-calorie alternative to regular peanut butter. But from a preparation standpoint, powdered peanut butter is a real find. Here's why. Regular peanut butter has a long shelf life already. In a sealed package, it can last a year or two, but it is heavy and bulky, and the oil content eventually leads to rancidity, especially in hot conditions. Powdered peanut butter removes most of the fat, leaving you with concentrated peanut protein and flavor. It is incredibly light, takes up minimal space, and can be stored for 15 to 20 years or more if kept properly. It needs to be diluted with water to make a spread, although, to be honest, the texture will never be the same as real peanut butter. But the true value of powdered peanut butter is revealed as an ingredient. It can be added to oatmeal, blended into smoothies, used in baking, made into peanut sauce for rice or noodles, and added to protein shakes. There are many uses. And here is a practical consideration. Peanuts are legumes that contain relatively high protein for plant food, about 7 grams per 2 teaspoons. They are also calorie-dense, although their calorie content is lower in powdered form due to fat removal. But in a survival situation, powdered peanut butter provides you with protein, flavor, and versatility in a package that lasts longer than most other items in your supplies. I keep several packs of powdered peanut butter in my supplies, and I really use it regularly, not because I want to cut down on fat in my diet, but because I like having options. Sometimes I crave real peanut butter with its rich flavor, and sometimes I want to add a peanut aroma to something without increasing the fat and calories. Powdered peanut butter gives me that opportunity. Now let's move on to the 7th point, and this is really important. Powdered fruits. In particular, I am talking about frozen fruits that have been ground into powder. And this is where it gets really interesting, because most people haven't even considered this option. They think about storing whole frozen strawberries or blueberries, which is great, but powdered fruits take it to the next level. Why should one have fruits in powdered form? There are several reasons. First, it's the perfect space-saving solution. One jar of powder can hold the equivalent of several kilograms of fresh fruits. Secondly, it is incredibly versatile. You can rehydrate the powder into fruit puree, mix it with yogurt or oatmeal, or add it to smoothies. It is perfect for baking, adding a natural fruity flavor and color without excess moisture. You can even make fruit peels by reconstituting the powder and rolling it into a thin layer. Thirdly, it retains most of the vitamins and antioxidants present in fresh fruits, especially if the freeze-drying method is used instead of thermal dehydration. But here's what really matters. Fruit powder allows for adding natural sweetness to dishes without using sugar. Don't get me wrong, I keep sugar in stock. It's necessary. But powder from strawberries, bananas, or mangoes brings sweetness, flavor, and nutrients. This is a winning combination. You can buy commercial fruit powders from various companies, but you can also make them yourself if you have a freeze dryer and a good blender. Buy fresh fruits when they are in season and at a low price. Dry them, turn them into powder, and store them in bags with oxygen absorbers. That's it. You have sealed summer strawberries or autumn apples in a form that will last for 25 to 30 years. I started experimenting with powdered fruits in 2019, and it completely changed my approach to food storage. I made strawberry pancakes while camping, which tasted surprisingly close to fresh strawberries. I added blueberry powder to oatmeal on a cold morning, and it was a real explosion of flavor. I mixed mango powder with a protein shake, and my boring vanilla drink suddenly reminded me of a tropical getaway. This is what many preparers overlook. The state of mind matters. Happiness is important. Hope matters. You can have any calories, but if your food tastes like cardboard and every dish brings despair, it affects you. Powdered fruits are one of those little luxurious things that don't seem like a luxury until they are needed. Then they become invaluable. Now let's move on to powdered vegetables. They are a true workhorse for long-term food storage. Powdered vegetables, both individually and in mixes, add nutrition, flavor, and color to dishes when fresh vegetables are unavailable or too expensive. We are talking about powdered carrots, spinach, tomatoes, broccoli, sweet potatoes, and cabbage. The list can go on. To be honest with you, you cannot revive powdered spinach and serve it as a side dish for anyone to be happy about. It's not about that. The main thing is to have a way to add nutrients from vegetables to other products. Mix powdered vegetables into soups and stews. Add them to pasta sauces. Mix with rice. You can add them to the minced meat for burgers or meat rolls. Mix them with fruits and smoothies where the fruit flavor masks the vegetable taste. Use them in bread dough or casseroles. The nutrients in powdered vegetables surprisingly remain in significant amounts. Although some vitamin C is lost during drying or freezing, most other nutrients remain. Vitamin A, vitamin K, minerals like potassium and magnesium, and especially fiber. Americans are chronically lacking in fiber. In times of crisis, when people eat more processed foods and fewer fresh vegetables, fiber becomes even more critical for digestive health. Here is a helpful tip I learned from my dietitian friend. If you are serious about long-term food storage, create your vegetable powder mix. Take equal parts of powdered spinach, powdered carrot, powdered tomato, and powdered sweet potato. Mix them together and store in a jar. Now you have a real source of nutrients that can be added to any dish. In small amounts, it hardly changes the taste, but significantly increases the nutritional value. I store both individual powdered vegetables and my mixes. Certain foods allow me flexibility, while mixtures provide convenience. And all of them grant me peace, knowing that even if I mainly eat grains and proteins, I can still get vegetable nutrients in my diet. Number 9, and this is something that, in my opinion, deserves much more attention than it receives. Powdered oil. Yes, oil in a powdered form. It sounds strange, but don't rush to conclusions, because this may be the most underrated product on this list. Fat is essential for human health. Your body needs fat for hormone production, absorption of certain vitamins, brain function, and sustained energy. However, fat is the most difficult macronutrient to store long-term. Most oils spoil within a year or two, even if unopened. Coconut oil lasts longer, possibly 3 to 5 years. Canned oil or ghee can be stored for several years, but powdered oil can last 20 to 30 years with proper storage. This is a real find. Powdered butter is real butter that has been processed to remove most of the moisture and some of the liquid fat, leaving milk solids and enough fat to retain the buttery flavor. It is restored with water, although to be honest, the texture will never be the same as that of real melted butter. But as an ingredient, it works perfectly. Use it in baking, add it to mashed potatoes, pasta for making butter sauce, stir it into hot cereals, spread it on bread if you don't mind the texture. But besides cooking, powdered butter plays an important nutritional role. Each portion contains calories from fat and fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A. In a long-term survival situation, when you can eat plenty of lean proteins and carbohydrates, having a source of fat is critically important. Without enough fat, your body struggles to absorb nutrients properly. You feel hungry all the time, even if you get enough calories. Your energy levels drop, and your mood worsens. I started storing powdered oil in my supplies around 2018 after reading an intriguing study on fat consumption in times of disaster. This study found that people with access to sufficient sources of fats maintained better physical and mental health compared to those who primarily consumed low-fat foods, even with a similar calorie intake. This hit me hard because I realized that I had plenty of rice, beans, wheat, and canned vegetables in my supplies, but very little fat. Powdered oil filled that gap. Here's my advice. If you are serious, start with a small amount, maybe 1 or 2 cans. Try it. Get to know its taste, how it restores, how it behaves in recipes. If you like it, stock up more. If not, you spent only $30 or $40 on an experiment, not hundreds. So let's summarize what we've covered. 9 powdered products that can be stored for 25 years or more. Powdered eggs for protein and versatility. Powdered milk for calcium and baking. Powdered whey protein for complete protein concentration. Powdered soup mixes for comfort and convenience. Powdered cheese for fats and flavor. Powdered peanut butter for plant protein and taste. Powdered fruits for natural sweetness and nutrients. Powdered vegetables for fiber and vitamins. And powdered oil for essential fats. But knowing what these products are is only half the battle. You also need to know how to store them properly, because even the most durable products will spoil if not cared for properly. Here are 4 basic rules for long-term storage of powdered products. The first rule: keep them cool. Heat is the enemy of shelf life. Ideally, the storage temperature should be below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Each increase in temperature by 10 degrees can halve the shelf life. If possible, store in a basement or climate-controlled room. The second rule: keep them in a dry place. Moisture destroys powdered products the fastest. Once moisture gets inside, you will have clumping at best and mold at worst. Therefore, proper packaging is crucial. Use Mylar packaging with oxygen absorbers or number 10 cans. Do not leave powdered products in their original packaging unless they are intended for long-term storage. The third rule: protect from oxygen. Oxygen causes oxidation, leading to nutrient breakdown, loss of flavor, and rancidity. Oxygen absorbers are inexpensive and incredibly effective. An oxygen absorber with a volume of 2,000 cubic centimeters in Mylar packaging will remove almost all oxygen within 24 to 48 hours, creating an environment where nothing can grow or spoil. Fourth rule: protect from light. Light, especially ultraviolet, destroys nutrients and can alter taste. Therefore, powdered products bought in stores are often packaged in opaque containers. If you use transparent containers for convenience, keep them inside a dark cupboard or pantry. Even better, use Mylar packaging, which completely protects from light. Follow these 4 rules and your powdered products will easily last for 25 years. Ignore this advice, and you'll be disappointed when your 5-year-old powdered milk starts to smell like old socks. But there is something important I must mention. Having all these powdered products is wonderful, but they will not benefit you if you have never used them in practice. One of the most common mistakes beginners make in preparation is buying a large amount of long-term storage food that remains untouched until an emergency occurs. At that moment, they open the package and realize they don't know how to prepare it. They might not like the taste or may lack an important component for a complete dish. My challenge for you is to buy 1 or 2 powdered products we discussed today, and indeed use them. Prepare powdered eggs for breakfast this weekend. Use powdered milk in the next baking project. Try adding powdered vegetables to the soup. Get used to these products now, when there is no pressure and the opportunity to experiment and make mistakes. Thus, if you ever have to rely on them, they will seem familiar rather than foreign. Before concluding, I want to remind you once again about the free guide, because I know some of you just joined or may have forgotten. It's called How to Turn $50 into Food Supplies for 90 Days. It's completely free, with no conditions. I created it to give you a simple starting point for building your food security without the need for a large budget or much space. Just enter your name and email, and I will send it to you. I respect your privacy, and your information will never be shared with third parties. Be sure to get this guide. He complements everything we talked about today and provides you with a practical plan that you can start implementing immediately. So, friends, this is an overview of 9 powdered products with a shelf life of over 25 years. If you found this helpful, please like. This will help more people find this information. Leave a comment and let me know which of these powdered products you already have in stock or which one you would like to try. I read every comment and love receiving feedback from you. If you are here for the first time, consider subscribing, as we publish content every week to help you prepare more wisely, not harder. And if you know someone who might find this useful, share this video with them. Preparation is about community, about helping each other become more resilient. Remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is now. Start small. Start today. Every step you take towards preparation is a step towards peace of mind. Take care of yourselves. Be ready. See you next time.